If you've played a first-person shooter in the last 20 years, you've likely felt a specific kind of disconnect. You have a target dead to rights, you pull the trigger, and the bullet somehow misses. This is Bloom. Hipfire accuracy isn't determined by your gun's aim, but by an invisible cone of randomized math. There's also a second trick, rendering the weapon and background at different field of view values. This optical illusion saves processing power on aging hardware. The franchise had hit a rigid technical ceiling. These legacy tricks were the only way to keep the game running, proving real combat fidelity was impossible as long as the series was tethered to older consoles. On October 23, 2026, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 arrives, completely replacing the core mechanics that governed the franchise for a decade. To make that happen, Infinity Ward made a calculated sacrifice. They abandoned the massive install base of the PS4 and Xbox One to build natively for current generation hardware. Dropping legacy support wasn't about a simple graphics upgrade. It was the necessary step to rewrite the engine's physical laws from scratch. That rewrite makes Modern Warfare 4 the first major AAA shooter to completely remove artificial hipfire bloom. This wireframe shows the ballistic authority system. Bullet trajectory is governed by physical simulation, tied directly to the weapon's motion. It also enables convergence. The barrel physically adjusts its angle as the target moves, aligning trajectory on the Z-axis. This overhaul also renders the game world and the weapon on the exact same FOV perspective. This allows for photorealistic lens distortion and a true depth of field that wasn't possible when the gun and the world were separate layers. Unifying the physics and rendering transitions gunplay from a background calculation into a grounded physical event. Where recent entries in the series favored a floaty, hyperkinetic style of Amba movement, Modern Warfare 4 focuses on weight and tactical flow. You can see that momentum in new traversal mechanics, like the supine slide, letting an operator drop onto their back, maintaining their aim, or the ability to dynamically shimmy across ledges. Even climbing and ladder transitions have been rebuilt to preserve speed, removing the friction that usually occurs when a character's animation overrides the player's intent. This system forces a playstyle shift, where survival depends on managing physical weight and tactical positioning. That focus on physical behavior extends to apex attachments, endgame modifiers like underbarrel shotguns or laser-guided rockets that fundamentally change how a weapon handles. To manage these variables, the game introduces Gunny, an AI assistant analyzing unlocked attachments to instantly suggest viable builds for your preferred combat role. But adapting your gear is only half the battle. You must also adapt to the ground under your feet in a modular map, Killblock. This blueprint shows the slab system. Killblock can form over 500 configurations, with modular sections that slide and rotate between rounds to physically rewrite the sightlines and cover. From the weapon in your hands to the layout of the facility, every part of the engine is built to keep the battlefield in a state of constant physical flux. This mechanical grit is reflected in the tone of the single-player campaign, which trades high-tech power fantasies for a story about vulnerability. You play as Private Park, a rookie South Korean soldier. He isn't a gadget-heavy specialist. He's a grunt forced to navigate the chaos of a full-scale ground invasion. Park's struggle for survival on the front lines runs parallel to a shadow war waged by Captain Price, who is now operating entirely outside the system he once served. The conflict spans the globe, from the opening shots at the Korean demilitarized zone to urban sieges in Paris, strikes in Mumbai, and New York. By stripping away the sci-fi tropes, the narrative places the focus squarely on the friction of warfare, where positioning and physical momentum determine the outcome of a mission. The release strategy for Modern Warfare 4 suggests Activision is positioning this as a clean break from the past. The team has even optimized this new physical engine to run natively on the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2, bringing the series back to Nintendo hardware for the first time in over a decade. Perhaps most telling is the business posture. The publisher is refusing a Day 1 Game Pass launch and releasing just weeks before the arrival of Grand Theft Auto 6. Modern Warfare 4 represents a pivot away from the annual iteration cycle, replacing legacy arcade shortcuts with an engine that treats every movement and every shot as a physical event.